Ammo up and running. Take 3. I think I've had 3 different attempts to upload content onto my YouTube at the minute, and for some reason I keep talking too fast, running away with myself, and then when I slow myself down, I tend to forget my story or slip off of my story. So I've got to learn how to just breathe in your nose and out your mouth. It's meditation, and it does work. It really does work. I'm a great believer in mind over matter, and I actually practiced a little bit of Buddhism um, whilst I was in one of the Queen's houses in HMP Whitemoore. You know, you go through these stages or phases on big long sentences where you just, you know, one minute I was doing tattoos, I was a tattooist in there. The next minute I was like running a pub, I was brewing hooch. Um, you know, you go through different phases when you get a long sentence, and you basically just got to do whatever you've got to do to get through them days, whether it good or whether it be it bad, because it's not like a short sentence. When you get a short sentence, basically, say if you get 18 months or even a carpet 3 years, you can play up from the minute you get that sentence to the minute you come out, because you know they're only going to keep you for a maximum of up to 3 years, unless, of course, you get outside charges and further charges whilst you're in custody. But because I've got 12 years, I didn't mind playing up at in the first 3 to 4 years. So I just done my bit of bird, and I done my sentence how I wanted to do my sentence, and not how the prison staff expected me to do my sentence by knuckling down, doing courses, jumping through the hoops, and doing things like that. I rebelled against the system at first, and I'd done whatever I'd done to get through it, and it did get me through it. Yeah, coming towards the end of my sentence, whilst I was in Whitemoor, and yeah, Noel Razor Smith was in there at this time, Stevie Gillen, me, Yami, Mickey Steele. Um, there was so many you know, high profile people in there, and people what I've known for most of my life. Well, because I was getting downgraded from a category A basically down to a B cat, thank God. Because when I was an A cat, I'll tell you what, a lot of people, a lot of inmates inspired to be an A cat for some reason. They think it's like you're higher up the chain, or you're higher up the pecking order if you're a category A. And the reason why the police do put people under category A conditions is a number of different reasons. One of them, the main reason, is escapee. So basically, I jumped over the dock, and I got a consecutive sentence on top of my sentence for jumping over the dock. So that made me an escape risk for a start. So I went in patches for 18 months, and that's when I hit the dispersal systems. Full Sutton, Frankland, Whitemoor, Long Larton. Yeah, I'd done the circuit, and at one stage I was from seg to seg to seg. I was on good order and discipline, for one thing or another, in you know, and that's just what got me through my bird. But yeah, when I got downgraded to a category B, in Whitemoor, and a few of my followers who actually been in Whitemoor will actually remember the SO in there, and his name was A to Z. I think he was Russian or uh, maybe Polish or a different nationality, but his name is A to Z, and he had big long sideburns coming down there, and they were pointed out. So he had them from there going up there and down there, but pointed ones, and his name was A to Z. He was the most, and he was an SO, like trying to be a PO, trying to be a governor, but he was the most horriblest, wickedest, cruelest SO you could ever come across. And if you got on the wrong side of him, they didn't matter how hard you were, how hard you was, how much of a long sentence you was doing, or how high up the pecking order you was. He could make your life fucking hell. And there's a number of things what he could do by doing that. One is by chucking you down the seg. Another one is by taking your status off you, so putting you back to basic. Another one is closing your visits up. He can just he can turn you into a mess, and you know, it can be really, really horrible. But on the flip side of that, if you got on with this screw, then you got on with him. It was one of them. It was either you didn't or you did. And basically, I didn't at first. He looked at me as like a flash little South London Cockney, but he also gave me a bit of respect because he'd seen my page 16 and he'd seen the crimes what I was in for, which was ×7 armed robberies. And the screws know when you go into a new nick, they know your bit of form and they know who's who and they know like who's at the top of the pecking order for committing crimes. So you do get a little respect in that sense. Well, I got a job on the cleaners, a wing cleaner, which in jail is a very, very good job. Actually, it's one of the top jobs of the jail, in the jail, because you can literally go all around your wing, and you know you can pass things to in people's other cells, and you can get to people and you can do little things. So it's a good job to have. A lot of people say that working down the kitchens is the best job because you know, it's good money. It's the best paid job of the prison, and it's got the best perks because obviously you can get food and things like that. Well, I did work in the kitchens in Belmarsh a little bit, and yeah, we was keeping our hooch down there. I think we had about 50 gallons of hooch down there, and it come on top one day when the chef come in, the SO, and he found it behind the boiler. We was absolutely gutted because it only had a few days left on it, and it was still bubbling. It was absolutely rife. I think it'd been down for about 3 weeks, and we was feeding it every day with fruit. We started off with the proper with the proper yeast because we worked down the kitchens. But yeah, until that come on top, we did have quite a few drinks made from down the kitchens in there. But I got their sack down there for having an argument with one of the screws down there. That didn't last long. But yeah, that was in Belmarsh. But that, as I said, when I went to Whitemoor, I got a wing cleaner's job. A to Z give me a wing cleaner's job, which was a right touch. And I could get everywhere. Sorry guys. Every time I seem to upload a video, either someone knocks on my door or my phone rings or something like that. But we get back to the story, guys. So yeah, I was on a wing cleaner's job, and I actually specialised in buffing floors. So basically, I had permission to certain type of chemicals what other inmates couldn't get, because you know all the chemicals were kept in the little room, which only the screw had the key to. And one afternoon, I took a 5 litre gallon of this cleaning fluid. Well, it wasn't really, it was cleaning fluid. It was for stripping floors. So it was a stripper, and it was for stripping floors. Well, I thought it'd be a good idea because where I was brewing hooch too, and a few of my mates were brewing hooch too, look, I thought it'd be a good idea to get a few of these 5 litre containers, because 5 litre containers in jail are really hard to get hold of. A lot of people use them for weights, like they empty the contents out and fill it up with water, have 10 litres on each end with a broomstick or mop handle, and like you can do your bits and pieces with it. But yeah, I had basically 4, and to be honest with you, every time I took one of these 5 litre containers out of the office, I had to tell this SO that I was using this stripper, because obviously it had to be noted and he wanted it back. So for me to be able to use the 4 litres of the 4 5 litre containers of stripper, I had to strip the whole landing on one of the spurs, and I took the literally I took the varnish off the top and flattened it. It went right away back to flat. But then I had the job of sticking like a lacquer on it and then buffing it back up. So this took me so long. It probably took me about every day 8 weeks to get the whole spur up like glass. And then I was telling A to Z the screw that the containers were getting thrown away. So basically that's how I got 4 5 litre containers in my cell. Well, after they'd all been emptied, and I rinsed them out in the shower and with boiling water numerous times, I was going to keep these for brewing hooch. And we put, me and a few of my pals I was having it with me at the time, we put some hooch down. So we put these 4 5 litre containers of hooch down in it was on the wing, on the spur, and you could hang your coats in there. It was like a cloakroom, and you could put your boots in there, your football boots, and there was like stalls in there. But what we done is we hung it up. We hung each container up on the hook, and then put a coat over it. And then we was going back in there a few times a day when we was out on association and checking them and like releasing the pressure off the top of them. So like this takes a very lot of time. It's very time consuming. It's good because it takes your mind off of like the situation what you're in at that time, and it gives you something to look forward to. And also we had quite a few nights in there on association, like previously what we was absolutely paralytic drunk, and we used to play cards in each other's cells, and we'd like cheat with each other and fall around the cell laughing and play jokes on each other. And then the screws used to get on it. They used to like smell our breath and try and they used to put us on lockdown and things like that. But they didn't have breathalyzers in or things like that. But the screws used to absolutely hate it when they used to find Hooch on the wing, because what does Hooch and alcohol bring? That brings violence. So it's not like wacky backy, where if you have a spliff or you have a wacky backy joint, it chills you out and calms you down. With Hooch, it gives you Dutch courage, and it makes you rowdy and things like that. So this is why the screws didn't like it. They hated it. And I actually got arrested quite a few times on that big sentence for making Hooch, and went in front of the governor numerous times. And I've got the book thrown at me numerous times, but it was something for me to do, and I was good at my job. I knew exactly how much sugar to put in it, and I knew how strong the alcohol was going to be, and things like that. So yeah, we had this Hooch down in these 4 containers for around 9 weeks, and I said to my pal, I said, right, let's have a little test with it. So I let one go dead for overnight, let it go flat. Sieved it out and that, and I had a little capful, and I felt a burning sensation going down my throat, and I felt my stomach burning, really, really, really burning. Not on a normal burning, it was bubbling, and I could taste this stripper in the back of my throat and into my stomach. So we got locked up. The association finished and I was locked down. Well, I was literally rolling all around the floor on my hands and knees, doubled up in pain like this, doubled up in pain. And I couldn't go onto the bill and speak to the healthcare, because they'd obviously say like, well, what have you drunk? And then that would bring it on top for us. But yeah, I'll tell you what, it didn't kill me, it didn't poison me, but it gave me terrible, terrible, terrible diarrhea for 5 days. I was doubled up in pain, and yeah, that's a funny little story, man. But you've got to be very, very, very careful what you brew your Hooch in. And like, I honestly thought like I washed it out and I rinsed it out. I took a few days on rinsing it out. But once like a container has had stripper in, the stripper actually gets into the plastic. So it doesn't matter how much you wash it out, it's just always going to be in there. And yeah, I paid for it very, 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 very dearly. And actually, we had to throw a whole lot of the drink away, because if we'd have carried on drinking, it could have potentially killed us. Do you know what I mean?